Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer joins me today to unpack the latest in the mining industry. Welcome, Martin.
Hi, Sashni.
Now, Platinum is seeing interesting developments with the recent Impala Platinum proposal that seeks to acquire Royal Bafokeng Platinum. And we also see reports that African Rainbow Minerals is in talks to acquire the Bokoni Platinum Mine.
Yes, this was very interesting to see the interest again in platinum. Platinum went through a period that was very, very tough, and people see it as coming out of this now. They also see, the fact that battery electric vehicles are just not going to be able to penetrate as fast as expected because of the limitations of lithium and critical metals. And then they also see when the battery electric vehicles actually get into that car pool substantially, they'll be moving into the hydrogen economy. And in the hydrogen economy, they will need for the fuel cells platinum and ruthenium, and also for the electrolyzers, they'll need platinum and iridium. So they see that demand then, in this beyond 2025, then building up for the hydrogen economy. It could build up even faster. When I listened to the people in Europe yesterday, Germany, France, Switzerland, representatives from Norway, all saying the same thing, very fast. They want to move very fast. And they were talking about how they can use the existing infrastructure to get hydrogen through. So the outlook is good. Because the outlook is good, we now see interest in the actual assets in the ground. And we know that Impala Platinum and Royal Bafokeng Platinum have been, close for a long time. And, at that stage where Royal Bafokeng came out and did the job itself of mining, it's been a very important development for the Bafokeng community. But you associate and you see Bafokeng community both in Impala Platinum, and you see Bafokeng community dominant in Royal Bafokeng Platinum. And that was an amazing community because, as you look back in history, the Lutheran Church informed them that they needed to have title to land. It was no good just living on the land in the new era. And the Lutheran Church advised them to find out how much they needed to pay for that land, to pay, the government of the Transvaal at that time. And they took that seriously, and they had a military unit that ran to Kimberley. They ran all the way to Kimberley, and they had a price in mind for this land. And they worked on those diamond mines until they achieved that money that was needed. They then ran back and they gave this money to Paul Kruger, and they got title to that land. And it was getting title to the richest ore body of platinum group metals, this treasure chest, the biggest treasure chest of PGMs on the planet. And they got that. And during the period of apartheid, the various Bantustan governments, they wanted to get that, but fortunately they just managed to stave them off every time, and they've now got this, and they've done so much for that area. When you see what they've put into sport fields and stadiums and roads and infrastructure in that area around where those where the Bafokeng community is concentrated, you see that they've contributed, a lot, and hopefully they will be able to consolidate now. It's an important time for consolidation, as you say. African Rainbow Minerals also looking at Bokoni. I think that it only makes sense because of where they've got assets at the moment. And that's not certain that deal will go through, but it just shows you people are looking at that consolidation. And we last saw it when Lonmin went into Sibanye-Stillwater. So there's more consolidation, which is important for platinum group metals, although we see this good, clear picture forward that is very positive. There can be hiccups, and you notice what happened with the semiconductor chips. The automotive industry, the car pool, made a mistake and cancelled their order for chips, thinking, well, they could just go back to them when they needed them, and that those chips wouldn't be needed. But during the time when they cancelled, the semiconductor chip manufacturers were happy because people were in lockdown. They were sitting watching TV. They were buying more TV. They were needing more chips. There was such a demand. So when the carpool comes back, they said, well, gee whiz, you guys cancelled. We haven't got, and look what that did to the price, just a hiccup like that. And it's not of our making, it's an unintended consequence for our mines, but we get hurt. So you need to be quite big and consolidated. So I'm pleased with this consolidation proposal. It hasn't happened yet.
And while miners are urged to take hydrogen seriously in its decarbonisation strategies, Canada's First Nations are seeing it as an opportunity for reconciliation.
Yes, I listened to the Fasken webinar, and coming through there, these miners were saying, the investors and the community around Canada, Toronto, the legal saying, you've got to take this seriously. And, I remember quoting a person from Canada who was actually related to Michael Faraday through genealogy, and then Faraday was very close to the person who invented the fuel cell. They were saying, hey mines, you've got no excuse, brother. There is an opportunity because this is local. You can't say, oh, a big utility has got to do this. No. There's no excuse for you not doing it. There's no excuse for you not going green. Because why? Sun and wind is ubiquitous. What does that mean? It's everywhere. So get going on it. And you've also got water, and you've got no excuse for not having green hydrogen. So you've got no excuse whatever for not making green products. And then if you've got those green products, you can make green cars, you can make, green everything that you use that for. So it spreads along the supply chain. And I was pleased to see that they reiterated that and saying, take this seriously, miners, or it could come back to bite you. Because I find this lackadaisical thing in Canada, they're talking about blue hydrogen because they've got a lot of gas. That's nonsense. That's fake hydrogen. You've got to go for the green hydrogen. I agree with Andrew Forrester Fortescue in that respect. He's saying everything else is fake. This is it. This is the green hydrogen. If you want to go green in the universe, this is where you've got to do it. And so they must take it seriously, not fiddle around with blue and grey and all these funny colours that they're talking about. Because, we've had grey hydrogen since 1950 with Sasol. I mean, we're not going to use that. You've got to have green hydrogen. And then there was a very interesting element that came into this, the First Nation spokesman. And I've been around in Canada, and when those First Nations, some of the bus drivers, they are not scared to stand up and say, I'm from the First Nation. I've been persecuted by this company. I've been separated like you come from South Africa. We were put in a Bantustan. We were taken out of the action by the Indian Act. And they are still angry about this because it's led to a lot of poverty and put them in very cold regions and all that sort of stuff, these lines. This came up again by saying, now, you talk about ESG. You talk about the S and the social. You talk about E, environment, and G, governance. I want to add 2 letters, IR, Indigenous Reconciliation, brother. And you better get going on this green hydrogen, because the advantage of this is that when you mine in our areas and you come in here to mine, these cold areas, you got to be green. There's no excuse for you. And it can be local. So what are you waiting for? And if it is local, we want a cut. We want to be involved in that. As a shareholder or as an interested party, we also want to be served with that energy while you're mining. And we know that you won't mine forever. So when you go, we want to take that over. And we want to be in charge of this green energy. And take us seriously. That was the message that came through from the spokesman for the communities there. And it was very, very interesting.
Lastly, Martin, as mining looks towards sustainability in the face of climate change, Sibanye-Stillwater says it is well positioned as a climate resilient business.
Yeah, when you look at the way Sibanye-Stillwater present their strategy, it's very interesting to see that strategy, the ESG part of it, the environment, social, governance part of it, they've turned into a growth strategy, which I think is very, very good. So they've say, look, we've got full confidence in platinum group metals. We believe that it'll take longer for the electric vehicles to actually penetrate the combustion engine market. In other words, what they call the ICE engine, the internal combustion engine of cars we drive now. It's going to take longer because of the shortage of critical metals. But in that build-up to the shortage of critical metals, we also want to be part of that. So, they've rushed out. They've bought interesting stakes. They've gone out this week even to Australia in getting hold of the tailings, and they've got into copper in South America and cobalt in South America and lithium in places. And so they're trying to say, look, we want to be part of this, although we don't believe it's going to be as the figures suggest. We still see good potential to make money there, and so we want to be in these green metals, and we also want to be in the circular economy. We got into the circular economy when we took over Stillwater, and they were already involved with the recycling of platinum group metals, but we want to take it bigger. And we know they've got DRD gold, which is massive, in circular economies gold situation where they get the gold off the dumps. You look at this week's situation where they got into zinc tailings, and you think, well, did they do this for the zinc? Yeah, probably, but also to take a look at how this is done. So, I think the best in the world at this recovery of gold is without doubt DRD gold. But if they can actually spread and see what else everyone else is doing, they can go in and get to lithium dumps, they can get to all sorts of dumps to then generate more and protect the environment at the same time. So ESG, they cleverly have turned into a growth strategy.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. And don't forget to listen to the audio version of our Mining Weekly daily email newsletter.